What's happening, guys? If you don't know, you damn sure should know. My name is Chael Sonnen. The P stands for icon, and you are watching the Dutch Fight Network.
So we're sitting here with the one and only GOP Sonnen,
Now you know you've made it.
the gangster
Welcome
of
to the
Oregon.
big time.
Welcome in Turin.
I appreciate that.
You're the gangster from Oregon. Are you coming to visit the mafia family over here?
Man, they're here to visit me, believe me. Believe me. I'm not just a gangster there, I'm a gangster here, too. How are you? That's what really matters. How are things?
We are fine over here. We're pumped up for Bellator 176. Are you pumped up for it?
Yeah, man. I love it because I like the mixture, too. I like the kickboxing. I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan that they blend them both. So, yeah, it's a rare card.
So have you been in Turin before?
No, first time. Got in last night. Got in about 11 o'clock. Got a good night's sleep. Looking forward to trying the food more than anything. Yeah, I got a little restaurant in mind. I'm going to go try right now. I'm going to have some veal and I'm going to have some spaghetti.
Of course. So Bellator 176. There's some great fights on the card. Which one are you looking forward to?
Oh, I like the main event. You know, I like the main. I've seen so many fights that sometimes I just enjoy the build up more than all of the action. That personally as a fan, but I also enjoy when Melvin fights Manhoff. I think he's a lot of fun, a lot of energy, and I mean I could go through the card, but I'm really looking forward to the main event.
So there are 3 Dutch fighters on this card as well. One kickboxing, Denise Kielhorst defending her title. We've got Jamil Chan and Melvin Manhoef. Can you say something about them if you know something about them?
Of course I know something about them. Yeah, I mean, they're all looking good. I thought Denise looked very good at weigh-ins. She struggled there on the scale, but it all worked out in the end. And, yeah, I think they're all good fights. You know, I bring up Melvin's name just because he's a little bit more known, but I think that his opponent, I mean, that's a hard fight. You know, that's a really hard fight, particularly if it goes into the second and third round. So, you know, let's just see what happens.
Have you seen the first fight?
Yeah.
And what did you think about it, the result?
I didn't have a huge problem with it. I mean, I thought it was a really exciting fight. Yeah, you know, but when you're dealing with Melvin, you know, he does put his foot on the gas right away. He comes out really, really hard in sprints, and he brings a storm, and there's usually nobody left standing. But his opponent was. You know, his opponent's a tough guy. So I liked the first fight. What'd you think?
Yeah, I'm a Dutch guy, but I think if you look at the scorecards, Melvin won it easily. I can't see it go any other way.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've heard other people say that. I don't know that I have an opinion on that, but I'm glad they're fighting again.
Yeah, of course they will settle it tomorrow,
Yeah.
so we'll see how it is. Well, you've said that you will be competing in 3 different weight classes. Is that the reason why you're looking at Manhoef Carvalho extra closely?
That I'll be fighting in 3 weights? I don't know if I've said that or not, but I would. I mean, I'll fight wherever the matches are. No, I wasn't looking at that for myself for an opponent. But since you bring that up, I suppose it's fair. But I'm not too locked in on weight classes. You know, if you're going to go on a title run, you got to pick a weight class. When I started in the sport, though, we didn't even have weight classes. You just weighed in and guys competed. And it's better now. It's better with weight classes. But for my frame of reference, they didn't used to exist. So, you know, I believe if you just want to compete with somebody, just go compete with them. And so however that plays out, it plays out. But whatever the weight is, you know, whatever the weight is, I don't care.
So now, finally, you're going to fight Wanderlei Silva. Do you think it really will happen this time?
Do I think so? Yeah, June 24th, man. Live on pay-per-view, coming from New York City. Yeah, we're finally going to fight. I couldn't even get him over here for the press conference. But he'll be over here for the fight. He's got no choice now.
Yes, of course. So how do you feel about it, since you already kind of fought him again in the Ultimate Fighter house? How do you feel about this?
You know, I really want to win. I really want to win. And you say that every time, but it means different things. You have different motivations. That's fair as a person or as an athlete. I have different motivations here. It is my arch nemesis. I have no bigger rival. I have no bigger grudge in this sport, and I have a lot of grudges. I have a lot of guys in this business I don't like, but he's at the absolute top of the list. So, you know, there's that motivation there, and it matters. There's a lot on the table here.
So you also said that ring rust is a real factor. Do you think that will play for Wanderlei as well?
Yeah, I think it probably will. I mean, it's a real thing. Ring race isn't all that big of a deal, but it's a real thing. And in a normal sport, you get a lot of competitions. Take basketball by example. You go out and have a bad game, but you get to play the very next night. In a bad scenario, you play 2 nights later. Football, you're going to play every single week. Tennis, golf, however it is, it's usually every week, and so you can work those kinks out pretty quickly. But in MMA, we only get 3 matches a year, which I resent about the sport. It's the only thing about the sport I don't like. I wish we got to fight much more often, once a month at the maximum. But every Saturday would be good. I came from a wrestling background. We took on 4 and 5 guys in a day, every single Saturday. You get 30 matches a month. And now in MMA, a whole career, you might only get 30 matches. So it's just the reality of it. You do the best you can there. I wouldn't use rust as too much of an excuse, other than to say that I did feel it in some regard. And there's a difference in speed and just the entire atmosphere. So, I think it's likely that Wanderlei will have to do that same thing.
But do you think it's healthy to fight every month?
Yeah, I think it'd be good if we could fight more often, and again, that's the way it used to be. I used to get about 10 fights in a year, which is almost 1 a month. And you try to do as many as you can, but it's just really hard to get them lined up. And then when you make it to the major promotions, Bellator, UFC by example, Pride, back when Pride was around, you only get those 3 matches a year, and if you're really lucky, maybe like a Donald Cerrone could get 4 or 5, but that's just still not very many matches. You either want to do a sport or you don't. There's so many lazy guys in fighting. There's such for 10 tough guys. Some tough guy fights somebody 3 times a year. Well, with 45 minutes of work in a whole year. Come on, man. My father was a plumber. He worked hard every single day. You got these fighters that got to go 45 minutes a year. Come on.
Well, the final and the big question. How will your fight end with Silva?
Yeah, so let's see. So June 24th, we're going to go fight, man. We're going to go fight hard. And I don't like Wanderlei Silva, but if I was to give him any kind of a compliment, it would be that he's a cage fighter, and I am a cage fighter. I am not a martial artist, and he is not a martial artist. And martial arts is just a nice way of saying I'm a wimp. There's a bunch of wimps in this sport now, and they want to put on their bathrobes, and they want to come out and bow to one another and talk about honor and respect, and that's a bunch of crap. That's not real. This is a cage fight. You don't have to honor, and you don't have to respect. You got to go out there and fight. And on June 24th, you'll have 2 guys that are going to fight.
Well, thank you for your time.
My pleasure.